Now, this is important. This week, there's been some awful tragedy here in the States, specifically to do with the Asian community. But it's important for us to talk about this, very important for us to talk about this, because there's this narrative. And there's a narrative out there that the Chinese government has been trying to push for a long time now, since the beginning of the pandemic. They've been trying to equate any criticism of the Chinese government's handling of the COVID outbreak,
or anything,
or the Uyghur genocide, or anything bad. So they try to equate anyone criticizing the CCP for doing bad things to attacks on Asians abroad.
Yeah,
they try to make it like, oh, it's because you say China is bad because of the COVID situation, or China is bad because of the Uyghur situation, that some random guy is attacking an Asian in San Francisco or in the UK or wherever, right? Which is it's a very smart tactic on their side, because they can play the race card.
It's very immoral.
It's incredibly immoral because, as I've mentioned in my previous video, the Chinese government and Chinese policy and what China does is not Asian. It's a country. It's a government. You know, Japanese people are Asian. Korean people are Asian. Vietnamese people are Asian. Indian people are Asian. Malaysian people are Asian. These are all Asians. Like, if I criticize the Malaysian government because it does something bad, that doesn't mean that people are going to start attacking Asian people around the world. You know, if I criticize the Japanese government for something, which I can do if I want, if I can say, oh, they're too heavy-handed here, or this policy, or they shouldn't be, praying at that temple or whatever. If I criticize the Japanese government, that does not equal attacks on Asians in San Francisco. But the Chinese government has somehow managed to convince a huge group of people that criticizing them equals attacks on Asians abroad, right? So there was this awful tragedy. There was this shooting in Monterey Park in California, where some guy on Chinese New Year went into 2 dance halls, and this whole dancing thing is very popular with elderly Chinese and Asian people in general. This idea of going out and doing sort of ballroom dancing or dancing. You see it in China everywhere, the Guangchang Wu and all that stuff, right? So as soon as there was news that there was a shooting, we had our regular crowd shuffle in, and try to blame it on criticism of China. So I'm going to...
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It makes me go crazy.
Yeah. So I wanted to read this tweet verbatim, because it hasn't been taken down or altered, even after being pointed out for, more than a week now. But good old, Cyrus Jansen over here said, I woke up this Chinese New Year morning to read this horrific story. This could have been my family. What's the reason for these attacks? 100% the media and the conspiracy theories and racism it uses to teach Americans to hate China. Full explanation. Watch my video. Let me make money off of this tragedy.
Gosh, first of all, remove the contents of the tweet.
Yeah.
To say, let's just say it said, oh, terrible shooting happened. Go watch my video. Go watch my monetized video.
Yeah.
What? Who does that?
Yeah.
That's like psychopath shit.
I mean, but the problem is, again, he blamed the shooting 100%. The media and the conspiracy theories and racism it uses to teach Americans to hate China is the reason for the shooting. That's his tweet. This is before there was any information about this. And even after it all came to light, he still hasn't removed this tweet or changed it or even corrected it.
Do you know, I've talked to a bunch of Asian Americans about, not specifically just about this, because this has been happening for a while, but specifically about the anti-Asian hate movement thing, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, including us, that have been to demonstrations, right, that are totally legitimate.
Yeah.
But there have been ones that have been co-opted by the CCP, and we've seen that through evidence, right?
Yeah.
This kind of rhetoric, like in this tweet, is what scares the absolute shit out of Asian Americans and the Chinese diaspora in America. Because what happens is they see that not only are the Chinese agents that are sent here to harass them, not only through Operation Fox Hunt, but through like neighborhood campaigns where they go and try to actually keep an eye on Chinese diaspora that might be anti-CCP. But when they see like Western American born looking, I'm going to say white Americans, when they see white Americans that are supporting the CCP in this rhetoric, it scares the absolute shit out of them. Yeah. Because then they're like, oh, well, I can't even criticize the CCP in America anymore. Yeah. Because it looks like, not even a dissident or a diaspora from China. Now it looks like somebody born in America also supports them.
So for those of you who might be unaware of the situation, by the way, this is just one of the many tweets that came out, not only from the pro-CCP shills, but also from various kind of politicians and so on that were saying like, oh, the anti-Asian hate, all the xenophobia is causing this. They were blaming it on people criticizing China. Blaming it on everything. But here's the actual story, is this mass shooting was actually, the perpetrator was actually Asian and actually an immigrant from China. Let's take a look.
This is when I heard the sound of the front door creaking closing, and instantly followed by the sound of a metal object clinking together as if they were rubbing. That's when I turned around and saw that there was an Asian man holding a gun.
The suspected gunman met his former wife at the Star Ballroom. His ex-wife showed CNN a copy of their marriage license indicating he was an immigrant from China. She told the network he was a truck driver at the time and could be quick to anger. The two divorced in 2006.
Okay, so first of all, immediately you can see that it's not racism or American conspiracies or whatever the hell, xenophobia or whatever. It was an Asian guy.
An immigrant from China.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This whole mass shooting thing is an American problem. Yeah. It is a problem in America and it needs to be fixed. I don't have a solution. I have a couple of theories of what can be done, but it's an American problem. Yes. So it's tragic and it needs to be sorted out. And I believe everybody's trying their best to figure this out. It's the biggest hot button issue in America, and both sides of the political spectrum are trying their best here to jump on it and see what they can do to fix it. But at the end of the day, it's an American problem. It's not a race problem. The race of the shooter doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's an American problem. America has too many mass shootings. It's really messed up.
Anyway, 2 days later, there was another mass shooting in California. Yep. And in this mass shooting, 5 Chinese nationals or 5 Chinese citizens that were working on mushroom farms here in the States, in California, were shot too. But they were shot by a Chinese guy. Yeah. Right? Here's a little clip. The consulate of China got involved.
Our one-on-one visit was scheduled for 10 this morning, and the only thing I was allowed to bring into the jail was my driver's license to check my identity. No pen, no paper, no cell phone, no recording devices. My conversation with Cheng Li Zhao was in Mandarin. He does not speak English.
So, again, this bullshit-like idea that these attacks against these mass shootings that happen on Chinese New Year are a result of xenophobia or a result of criticizing China is just complete nonsense.
Right. It's so obvious, though, that CCP and their sycophants, they want the shooters to be someone other than Asian so that they can say that, because they don't care about human lives. They want to use tragedy to stop criticism of the Chinese government, and it's so apparent. Yeah. When you see people that are operating on behalf of at least promoting what the Chinese government wants, using tragedies like this before anything is known to further their agenda, it's the truth is laid bare. Yeah. There's a reason we didn't bring this stuff up. This is an American issue, and the show is about China. We didn't bring this stuff up when it happened because it has nothing to do with China. Yeah. But it does have something to do with China when their sycophants are going out there and using human death and tragedy to further their agenda for a genocidal regime. Yeah. It's really screwed up.
You know what else is screwed up is, again, when I posted this, because, when it came to light that the guy was Asian, and for the first shooting, even before the second shooting had occurred, when it came to light that the guy was Asian, I put out a post and I replied to some of these guys and I just showed them the Crime Stoppers bulletin, because this is before the guy was even caught.
Yeah, it's
They're
nothing to do with race
no,
or anything.
No, they were like, this is the suspect. You know, we're looking for an Asian male of this height and this weight, and you know, this is what he looks like. And they released photos of him from security cameras. Right? I released that Crime Stoppers report, and my tweets got flagged.
It was from the police, right?
And so it got flagged, and Twitter sent me this. We put a warning message on these tweets because they might have sensitive content, like nudity, sexual content, violence, gore, or hateful symbols.
It wasn't a video of the violence.
No.
It was just
the
crimes.
I'll show you right now what it was. I took the special bulletin, attempt to identify, homicide
this is from
investigation.
the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Yes, I put that, just that. And you can see it's got like we put a warning on this tweet. So this is obviously the result of my tweets being flagged by all of these sort of disgusting agents of the CCP. And they don't want this to be out there. Because look, another of my followers here posted it too. A couple of people did it. They took the same picture because it was the one that was going around. They posted it and they didn't get flagged.
What's up, Twitter?
Yeah.
What's going on, Twitter?
And I checked today, my tweets are still flagged, but theirs aren't. Okay, so that means that the actual content itself is not bad. Okay,
What's going on, Twitter?
Yeah, because look, that's an official Crime Stoppers bulletin.
It's literally from the LA County Police Department.
Yeah, I just took their bulletin and I put it as a reply to people that was saying, "Oh, this is xenophobia is causing this."
The only reason you did this was because people were going around saying that it was
American racism,
yeah,
and
or
all this
anti-CCP rhetoric is causing this.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of stuff.
anti-Asian hate or whatever. And Twitter said that it might contain nudity. Okay, does it contain nudity?
I don't think so, no.
Sexual content? Nope.
No.
Does it contain violence? No, it doesn't actually. It's just got pictures of the guy's face. Does it contain gore?
Nope.
Does it contain hateful symbols?
No, it's literally an official bulletin from the cops.
None of these things. But because the whole army that works for the Chinese government and all of its agents and sycophants and so on keep reporting my tweets as being offensive or, you know, full of whatever. Everything that it can be reported for, they report it for.
Yep.
Twitter, obviously, because it has an automatic system or whatever, just flagged my tweets.
Yep. What's going on, Twitter? Do you have people in the CCP in your department? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I believe they must do, because look, other people posted the exact same thing and they didn't get flagged.
Yep.
All right, so there's just proof of it right there. And it shows you, unfortunately, just how well the Chinese government manipulates our systems over here.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, they use Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and all of that to generate this outrage.
Yeah.
So they go out there and they're like, "Oh, this American racism is what caused these mass shootings," before they find out
who did it. Yeah.
When it turns out it's an Asian, so it's not like anti-Asian hate crime. It was actually a domestic issue. This guy, from everything that I've read and heard, his ex-wife was there. He met her in that ballroom. You know, he was disgruntled with, you know, I don't know, relationship issues, and he just had issues, and he went and he tried to go to 2 places.
Super screwed up. Terrible. American
awful
issue.
Yeah, and then the other guy working at the mushroom farms, it was like a workplace disgruntled worker situation where he thought he was being treated unfairly and working too many hours. And so he went and he not only killed other Chinese citizens, but he killed Americans too, right? I mean, it was a workplace disgruntled issue. It is
Mexican Americans, right?
Yeah, Mexicans and Americans, whatever. He just indiscriminately killed people, okay, because he was pissed off at his workplace. He killed his co-workers.
But that's at a state level. They get their sycophants to go out there and say that this is due to criticism of the CCP. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah. So they get to use all these Western social media to generate this outrage and make people think that there's some kind of conspiracy here, that if you criticize China because of its poor handling of COVID, or you criticize China because of the Uyghurs genocide and bad human rights atrocities, or you criticize China because of its IP theft or spying or any of its policies, you criticize the Chinese government, it equals mass shootings against Asians. And that's so they use it to generate the outrage. And then when it comes to light, like I said, that it's an Asian person, and you put that out there, then they also use the same mechanisms of social media to censor that by getting it flagged.
Yeah.
By saying, "Oh shit, this is not convenient to our narrative.
We can't be wrong.
yeah, we better get this off.
Right.
Everybody mass flag it, get it taken down. Even if it's an official police bulletin, doesn't matter. It gets flagged by bloody Twitter.
Yep.
With a warning. So it doesn't get spread out there because, tweets that have a warning on, they won't just be like pushed out.
This is the level we're dealing with shit right now. You have sick people working for the CCP on American soil.
Yeah.
That are spreading this kind of message.
Yeah.
Now, I won't name names, but they know who they are. It's like, it's pretty messed up.
It's really messed up.
Don't take advantage of tragedy to further an evil government's goal.
Yeah, what are we calling them now?
We're now calling them Iagos, by the way, and I have a declaration.
Yes.
We're not going to say Wumaos anymore for the Westerners.
Yeah, the foreign shills.
So the foreign shills we are now going to call Iagos because tell me Jafar isn't the CCP.
Yeah, sure.
Right? That Jafar is sitting there with his mass domination plans trying to take over the world, right? And Iago is the bullshit little annoying parrot in his ear that's whispering him things and then also going out and parroting the CCP's narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me they're not freaking Iagos.
They're Iagos from now on.
If you are an American or Western shill and you're working on behalf of the Chinese government or you're going through third-party, companies to spread their ideas through your videos or tweets or whatever, you are an Iago.
Yeah.
And it must feel like shit. Because you know what's cool as fuck?
What?
Is being pro-human rights.
Yeah.
And being chill with everybody of every race. And promoting democracy and liberty and making sure that everyone has an equal voice. That's way cool. Trust me, if you're trying to hook up with girls, way cooler to be pro-human rights than it is to be an Iago.
Yes.
Iago is the kid that everyone hates in class, right? You need to go to like a special class to learn social development. Because don't be an Iago, it sucks. Right.
That's why they became an Iago.
This is very true.
Okay.
This is true. We now know the path of the
the
Iago.
Iagos, has to be. But yeah, if you're supporting the CCP and trying to push its bullshit rhetoric around the place, now you are an Iago.
You are an Iago.
Yeah, okay. So we came up with something new.